Well, good morning from Butte, America. I'm driving out of town right at sunrise. Sunrise was a few minutes ago. Although, because we have the Boulder Mountains over there, rising up 3,000 feet real close to town, the sun doesn't actually hit Butte till about 35 or 40 minutes after sunrise. But nice orange glow in the sky over there. I'm headed out to the Highland Mountains, and today's kind of a big day I've been looking forward to for years, actually. I'm gonna climb Table Mountain, or I hope I am. We'll see. We'll see how this video goes. So Table Mountain is the highest point in our county, the highest point in the Highlands, 10,223 feet. And I've always wanted to go up there. Well, when we first moved to Butte, I thought I wanted to go up there. Then I looked into it, found out it looked like kind of a grueling hike along a ridge up there, and I wasn't sure that I was up for it. And I was talking to a neighbor once, a guy down the street named Gene, sweet guy. He used to work for a company that trained special forces military personnel on wilderness survival in extreme cold. So they would do this training outside Butte, Montana during the Afghanistan war. Well, anyway, so he's the kind of guy, he's been up there like 40 times. And when I told him, I think I'm too old to get up there, he said, no, you can do it, you can do it. So he was so encouraging, thanks, Gene, that I have for years thought I could get there, but it's never quite worked out. I thought I was going to get there once with my friend Craig, who's a pretty experienced climber, and we went up to the top of Red Mountain, which is kind of one of the peaks on the way there. And then it looked like a storm was blowing in, so we, in an abundance of caution, we turned around, and then by the time we got back to the truck, it was blue skies, but anyways, didn't make it that time. Another time I thought Isaac and I were going to go up there, but the rocks were really bugging his paws, and it became clear this is not a dog hike. There's just too much sharp, broken rock, tailless slopes and stuff up there at the top. So we turned around. Then last fall, a year ago, I thought I was going to get up there, had my fresh replaced knee, getting back to strength. Things looked like I could make it, and I decided to go up and scope it out one day with Nancy, just go up to the Lookout, which is just kind of part way up to the ridge, and then come back later in the week and do it. But that was the hike that left me in the hospital for the next week, getting an emergency infection clean-out surgery, and then months of PT and 3 months on a cane and walker and all that. So that's how I spent it last winter. So now I think I'm finally ready. The stars have aligned pretty well. I'm feeling good. It'll hurt a bit, but that's life. But overall, I think I'm strong enough to get there. I've been working out hard kind of all summer getting ready for this. So we're going to see how it goes. I'll kind of record a few clips like this along the way and stitch them together later. So for right now, I'm out on the old Montana Highway 2, headed out of Butte, heading out of cell coverage right about now, and soon we'll be up in the Highland Mountains, and I'll weigh in again from up there. Okay, I'm up on Highland Road now. So this is kind of a bumpy gravel road that heads up into the mountains. You can get up to kind of up at the Continental Divide trail where it crosses this. That's about 8,000 feet elevation. And then from there we'll take kind of a really rough road up to about, I think it's about 8,800 feet, where I'll be parking the truck. Right up here, we're going to cross the Continental Divide. The trail comes in from the left and then goes off to the right down to the Burton Park trailhead. So we got this fancy sign they put up this spring. Look at that. I mean, this is like being in Yellowstone or something. So that says Burton Park trailhead ahead, Interstate 15, 11 miles ahead, Highland Continental Divide trailhead right here. Recreational area, no shooting, with a few bullet holes in the sign. The Montana look for those kinds of signs. And then right here is where the trailhead is. Not a car in sight. Sometimes on the weekend there's some cars parked around here. And so Highland Road goes straight ahead, and I'm going to turn left here. And then if you look up ahead, you can barely see it, but way up high, straight ahead, there's a little structure on the hill up there, and that's Highland Lookout that I'm going to pass on the hike. And to the right of it is Red Mountain I'm going to go over. And after that is when it gets really kind of dramatic on the high rocky ridge up there. So we've still got a few more miles to go to the trailhead. Stretch. We've just shifted into four-wheel drive, and so this final mile or so up here, it gets really rough. A lot of vehicles parked down below this stretch, and people hike up here. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. Like, very few people take this hike, but most of them park down below. If you have high clearance four-wheel drive, good tires, you can get up here, but it's slow going. I've had to stop and move big rocks out of the road. I've had to stop and saw a tree that was across the road. It's very much a rugged mountain road right here. First time I drove this stretch, it just seemed so amazingly rough. It's really one of the roughest stretches I've driven. And I've driven it so many times now, I know kind of each little spot. No, here's that spot where there's a deep gully. Here's that spot where there's a bunch of big heavy rocks. Here's that spot where rocks tend to roll down the road. Here's that, one smooth stretch for 20 feet. And so now that I know it well, it seems so much shorter. Like, it seemed really long the first time, and now it's just like it zips right by. So we're almost to the top, and the trees are getting a little thinner. You can maybe see in the background as we approach the tree line, and the trees will thin out a bit right up where we park up here. I'm very curious to see if there's a vehicle here. I don't know for sure if I'm going to run into anyone else today, but on a Monday morning, it's likely I'm going to have the whole mountain to myself today, so we'll see how that goes. Yep, no other vehicles here. I mean, there's a chance somebody will show up a little later today, but I think it's unlikely. We'll find out. Okay, we're heading up the trail. It's a lot colder here than I was expecting. I think it must have gotten down into the 30s this morning. My fingers are a little numb, but I'm guessing I'm going to be plenty warm after I get a bit of exercise. So I go through the trees here for about half a mile, and then there's going to be some amazing views up there. I'm coming out into the open here. We're just about to the tree line, and over here, I'm going to walk over the edge and show the view. Here's kind of a view down below, and I'll take better video once we get up high. And then I think you can see way up behind me, somewhere up there, is the lookout tower. And so that's going to be our first stop. That's about, I don't know, a little over a mile from the truck. Up on the switchbacks, there are, I think, what is it? I think 7 switchbacks, 14 turns on this stretch to get up to the lookout, which is 900 feet above the truck. Far below there, right in the middle, is the truck. It's about 600 feet below this spot, so I'm about 2/3 of the way up to the lookout. These are the switchbacks I've been coming up. Butte is straight ahead out there in the haze, although the forest fire smoke is much better today than it's been most of the summer, so I'll take it. So our house is about 18 miles straight ahead out there, and we can see this point from our house on a clear day. So that's Red Mountain off in the distance up ahead. So I'm going to be going up over the top of that. And right here, the road's kind of carved out of the rocks. And as I mentioned before, it's the big steep drop on this side. But pretty simple walk the rest of the way. And then after the lookout, we're done with this kind of designed to be driven by all-terrain vehicles kind of track, and then it's just narrow footpath the rest of the way. Okay, going up the last steep little bit, and there is Highland Lookout and the radio tower. This spot, Highland Lookout, has been the scene of couple of amazing, just unbelievable adventures. The lookout used to be up on top of that peak there, Red Mountain. And in, I think it was the 1950s, there was a Forest Service employee in the cabin at night up there, and there was a storm, and a lightning bolt destroyed the cabin, like blew it apart around him. And he hiked all the way down in driving rain down over the hill here. At that time, there was some people working about 6 miles away, and he made it to them, and he lived. And then they rebuilt the lookout down here. And so, as fire lookouts go, this one's kind of unusual. They're normally on top of the highest peak in the area, and that's where it was before. Right here, it's just below the highest peak in the area, because this spot gets hit by lightning far less often than up there on top. But that wasn't even the most amazing adventure that's happened up here. 2 years ago, they came up and they put this plaque here to commemorate what happened in 1922. A lot of fine print. That's a very long story. Basically, a group of Boy Scouts were hiking to Table Mountain. And they made it up over Red Mountain here to Monument Peak, which was called Devil's Peak back then. And I'll be at that hopefully in another hour, hour and a half. And it's the steepest, hardest part of this whole hike. And while they were up there in the most exposed spot, lightning hit. And lightning hit so close to them, killed one of them instantly, gave several others gruesome burns and other injuries, and knocked out a whole bunch of them. And they don't know for sure which one was the first to come to. But then all these acts of heroism, 6 of them got gold medals awarded by President Warren G. Harding, and that's what this plaque is about. And 2 of the boys hiked 11 miles down into that valley, a route they had never been on before, to the nearest lights, the nearest ranch, the nearest telephone line to summon help. And they made it down there at a breakneck speed, got help, and help came up and met everyone up at Table Mountain, and they hauled the injured up there. And it's just an unbelievable story. So if you search for, Highland Mountains Boy Scouts 1922, you can probably read all about it. But since they put this plaque in 2 years ago, I always stop and read the whole damn thing because it's an amazing story. So I can see they've replaced part of the cinder block wall there, and this lookout was looking a little ratty. Honestly, I'm not sure I would get up on the little walkway up there anymore. I've been up there before, but there's a lot of kind of rotten wood and stuff going on there. So it's nice to see that they've been doing some work on it lately. Maybe they'll keep fixing it up. So Butte is just to the right of Lookout, off in the distance, in the haze out there. Here's an example of how steep and rugged the terrain is right here. It's a long way down there. And there's Red Mountain. That's Red Mountain. I'm at the saddle between it and Highland Lookout. So that's where I'm headed next. And there's a trail on the left and one on the right. The one on the left is steeper. It's kind of straight up. I'm going to take the one on the right, but it also gets very steep up near the top on that slope. Don't know if I'll get any video up there. I might be needing my hands. So here's a good example of why this is not a dog-friendly sort of area. It's like this the rest of the way up. Not very easy on the paws. Okay, the wind's howling. I don't know how the audio will be. So let's see. That's top of Red Mountain behind me. I'm just like 50 feet below it now, and made it past the hardest part, which I don't know if you can tell behind me, but it's real steep back over there. So made it past that, and now Highland Lookout is way below me, and okay, not 50 feet, another 100 feet. I'm 2/3 the way up, but I'm past the steepest part, so on to Red Mountain. The most wicked looking spot on this hike is Monument Peak, and right here I'm cresting Red Mountain, and Monument Peak is coming into view off in the distance up ahead. So here's a view of what's coming next. We're going to go along that sharp ridge on the right, all the way up over that peak, and then Table Mountain, the flat area back there, is the highest point in the Highlands. That's the destination. On top of Red Mountain, there's Highland Lookout. Way down below, there's a ridge off to the east here that looks kind of interesting if you felt like doing exploring, but not today, because we need to get over there at Table Mountain. So these concrete footings are from the original lookout that was blown away by a lightning strike in the 50s when that guy was up here. These boxes, I'm sure, are little summit registers you can sign to say you've been here. So I've seen several interesting things up here on my travels up to this area before. I've only been right here twice, and beyond this, I've never been over there, so that's going to be exciting to see some new terrain. One time Isaac and I were up here, and down there on the road, we ran into two guys from Sheridan, Montana, who were on their way to Table Mountain. They didn't look in great shape. One of them was kind of roly-poly with skinny legs. The other one had an arm missing at the elbow. But I remember those guys. They were cheerful guys. They liked meeting Isaac. And I thought, hey, if these guys can go to Table Mountain, I can go to Table Mountain. They were just one of the little things that encouraged me. And then my favorite bizarre thing I've run into coming up here. So this is a little makeshift shelter on top of Red Mountain. People have piled up stones about 3 feet tall, so you can lay down inside there in high winds, a storm. Hopefully the rocks won't fall on you, but it's just a little shelter. Well, once Nancy and I were hiking up here, and we were on the way up in the morning, and coming down the trail was a young woman, I think she was Native American, and a Malamute with a big old beat-up backpack and a sleeping bag. And she and her dog had spent the night right here. So that's something to aspire to. What do you think, Nancy? You want to join me and do that sometime? This stretch here is kind of a little psychological barrier for me. I have never been to this point or beyond. So it's all new terrain now. I'm kind of excited about it. I mean, look at that. I'm going up over that peak up there. Pretty cool. Beautiful weather. Not a soul around except me. I love this. Well, I've just realized something. I don't think I'm going to Table Mountain today. It's taking a lot longer than I was expecting, and I could, at the rate I'm going, I think I could be there and be back to the truck, you know, late afternoon, early evening, but I don't want to push it that far. So I think I'm going to go a little further, turn around. I know a lot more now than I used to. I just came down this ridge, and stuff like that just takes a long time. I'm kind of impressed that I've seen people say they've done this as a 5-hour round trip, and man, that's some mountaineering there. So I'm just going to do a little exploring. The wind has died down, so I think I'm going to put the drone in the air for a minute. Okay, I'm standing here on this ridge. That beeping is because I was flying kind of close to the rocks. So I'm gonna just do a quick tour with the drone. Well, there's not much wind right now, and kind of show the lay of the land here. I'm turning around because I just didn't allow enough time. I'm not going to get there and back before pretty late today, and I don't want to push it that far. So I'm going to go a little further up the trail and check things out, and then turn around and call it a day. I know a lot more about this area than I used to, so it'll be fun to come back and kind of see more of it. So there on the right, that's the top of Red Mountain. That's where I just came from. And by the way, over to the left a bit, kind of behind the left shoulder of Red Mountain, Butte's off in the distance back there. So this trail that I'm on, if I go back over here somewhere, let's see, where is that down here? There it is. So that's the trail that I've been on, and I think I'm gonna just walk down to maybe right around that area and check it out a little bit more, and then call it a day. But I'm not gonna go over up to the top of Red Mountain. I'm sorry, to the top of Monument Peak. I just came off Red Mountain, and you go over the top of that to get to Table Mountain. We're gonna save that for another day. But it's pretty cool to see this area. Some amazing terrain I haven't seen before. So damn quiet up here. It's really kind of unbelievable. There's just nothing going on. Here, let's see if I can get a close-up of, there's a pretty little lake down there. It's right about there. Yeah, that's all private land down there, so you can't go there. And also, it would be quite a mountaineering feat to get there from anywhere up on this ridge. So that's a drone's eye tour from up here. By the way, you might wonder how I get audio on this. And so I've got the camera recording audio. It's just lying on top of my backpack here. And then I'm going to sync that audio with the video from the drone, and hopefully that'll all work. So I thought I was all alone out here. And then just now, a couple young guys showed up, and they're headed to Table Mountain. They're from Deer Lodge, never been here before. They're young and strong and moving fast, and I'm sure they're going to get there. If you look real close down there, you can see them on the trail. There they are. So anyways, I think they'll be fine. Plus they got two of them. It's a little different when you're traveling alone out in a place like this. So good luck, guys. Enjoy the mountain. I think I'm just going to put her around and turn around and head on back and let you guys have the whole place to yourselves. I don't know if video really conveys how steep this is. It's like amazing that all these rocks stay in place. You want to be here in an earthquake. So up ahead there's some dirt right there, and that's really the diciest part of this whole hike, because the rocks are kind of anchored together, but the dirt, it's easy to slip on. So I'd like to do some video of me going across it, but it's kind of a all hands on deck kind of thing, so I think I'll just try to not fall and get through it. Well, I'm back to the lookout, so now it's just a walk down the road past all the steep stuff. So this was pretty fun. Didn't get to Table Mountain, but I'll do that maybe later this season. We'll see how that works out. Kind of running out of days, but we'll figure it out. So one last look from up here at the lookout. That's the Fish Creek drainage down behind me. Jamie and I had a lot of fun down there. And of course, back up at the top of the hill, we got Red Mountain. Okay, just heading down the smooth road. It seems so smooth now after being on all the rocks up above. I love all the windswept dead trees up here. They look like they got stories they could tell. Mostly stories of storms, I think. There's one that got uprooted recently. Back to the truck. Well, that was a spectacular day. Didn't get to Table Mountain, but I'm not done trying for this year. I need to figure out a date in late September, early October that'll work. Kind of can't do it before then, but hopefully I can get back then, start much earlier. I don't mind being at the trailhead in the dark well before dawn, and that way I'll have tons of time and take it slow and easy and get up there. So now we just gotta get down the bumpy road. This road gets kind of interesting if you run into another vehicle coming the other way. Like right here, it's pretty wide, so you can squeeze past. But down below, there's some pretty tight spots. I was up here once. Came across two guys going the other way. I was going down, they were coming up. These guys were in some kind of a, I don't know what it was. It was like a Pinto or something. I mean, I don't think it was a Pinto, but it was some kind of small vehicle like that. Not four-wheel drive, not high clearance. And they were spinning and laughing. And at one point, one of them got out and was pushing. And I love seeing that kind of stuff. Just out enjoying life, not sitting around whining about what they do or don't have. I like those guys. Butte has a lot of guys like that. So getting down to where things start opening up a bit. Have some views. Well, as the old saying goes, we are out of the woods. It's just a peaceful drive through the Highlands back down to the highway. And there's a final look at Highland Lookout and Red Mountain. I will definitely be back.